We are leading up to our third anniversary in a couple of weeks. And I think one of the things that we want to do as a community is to continue to mature in our understanding of what is the kingship of Christ. Last year, we held an event that kind of talked about how Christ's kingship is working in people's lives. And so this year, we want to continue to be more aware of what Christ's kingship means in our community, in our neighborhood, in our city. And so when my good friend Deo approached me with this idea, we immediately jump into it and take it as one of the events leading up to iesctk third anniversary, which is this campaign called Thursdays in Black. Thursdays in Black is a campaign against gender-based violence that is started by the World Council of Churches. We will hear a presentation by our very own Amadeo, Devin, Daniel Udampoh. We know and love him as Deo. He's part of the worship team and everything else, right? But many of you do not know he's actually the coordinator of the Center for Gender and Sexuality, Center for Gender, Sexuality, and Trauma Studies at the prominent Jakarta Theological Seminary. And so I'm going to invite him to come and make a presentation, and he's here with a couple of friends from the center itself. And I think one of the things that we need to pay attention to when we hear his presentation is that, and I think you'll hear it again as well through the message, is Jesus is all about solidarity with people. And as Christ followers, we also need to follow in the footstep of being in solidarity with people. And that includes solidarity with victims of gender violence. And too often the church has been silent about this, and actually being on the side of the perpetrators and act as enablers, unfortunately. And so we want to be aware as we're moving up into maturity as a community that this is not right. And so I'm going to ask Deo to come up and give his presentation. Can we give him a warm welcome, please?
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure once again to be with you all, to be with this STFT community. My name is Amadeo, Devin Udampoh, as introduced by Pastor Oyan rightly. And I go by Deo for short. Some of you might have noticed me around. I've been coming to this church for the last 1 year or so, Pa Oyan, since last year in February or March. I came to, longer than that. And I came to this church for the first time for our first in-person gathering in March or April. I think it was March, 13th of March, something, last year, I'm also part of the worship team here at STFT. However, right now I'll be representing not the worship team. Worry not, I'm still part of the worship team. Next week is my schedule, Today I'll be representing Jakarta Theological Seminary or Sekolah Tinggi Filsafat Teologi Jakarta, which is a theological seminary, the Protestant Theological Seminary in Jakarta, located in central Jakarta, to be precise, in Menteng. We are also the oldest Protestant theological seminary, being founded in 1934. This is the facade of our seminary. It is our building. It is our campus. It's not a big campus, but it is one of the theological seminaries that many Christian Indonesians could think of when they are contemplating on a theological education. So I'm here representing also the Center for Gender, Sexuality, and Trauma Studies, Pusat Kajian Gender, Seksualitas, dan Trauma, in the same institution. And before I go on, I would like to acknowledge the presence of my friends. They are students of our seminary. I brought 2 students, not my students. I'm not a professor, but our students in the seminary. First is Theophilus Nathanael. Would you please stand up? This is Theo. He is one of our students studying currently at the 5th semester in your 3rd year. Okay, thank you very much, Theo. And sitting next to Theo is Angelica Hasibuan. Would you please stand up, Angel? This is Angelica, also from our seminary, student studying at your 5th semester, yeah? Her 5th semester in her 3rd year in the seminary. Right, so this morning on behalf of STFT Jakarta, I will introduce something called Thursdays in Black campaign. Don't focus on the black campaign because you will hear that often leading to the political here. But Thursdays in Black campaign. So what is Thursdays in Black? Thursdays in Black is actually a campaign that was initiated by the World Council of Churches. And it dates back even to the year 1988, where there was a okay, this is Thursdays in Black, yeah. So this is the campaign that is started by the World Council of Churches, and we aspire towards the world without a rape and violence. So this is the dream of the WCC, and a lot of events inspired the beginning of Thursdays in Black, including the fight for gender justice and gender equality in Bosnia, started by women of Bosnia. They were fighting against violence that were incurred by war, ongoing war, endless war in Bosnia at the time. And also, Thursdays in Black is inspired by women in Palestine who campaign for peace and for the end of the ongoing war as well. Of course, we've been struck lately by the violence, by the war raging that particular region, and we are so saddened by the many women who also become victimized, not only because they are victims of war, but also because there is a gender dimension to their victimization. So we also stand in solidarity with those women in Palestine. And also this situation is one of the main inspirations of Thursdays in Black campaign. It was an inspiration then, and it is even more relevantly inspiring even now that we are facing a humanitarian crisis in Palestine. So next slide, please. All right, this is just a bit of a data over here based on the statistics gathered in 2022, which is last year. So according to the data gathered by Indonesian National Commission on Violence Against Women, or Komnas Perempuan, gender-based violence is still rampantly happening in Indonesia. And if you could see on the slide over there are 2,098 domestic cases related to gender-based violence and 1,276 cases in public area. We're talking about women being harassed, being groped in public transportation, on the subway, on MRT, Jakarta, if it's in Jakarta, and many other public places, which makes up 1,278 cases. And 68 cases, sadly, are state or government related. So it's either perpetrated by government officials, or if it's if it involves natural sources crisis or many other things that should be the responsibility of the government. So this is the situation that we're facing in relation to gender-based violence. And at Jakarta Theological Seminary, we feel that it is a Christian calling to respond to gender-based violence because our God is God of justice. And we also want to bring justice to as many people as possible, especially the marginalized. And we also see our friends who become victims of gender-based violence as beneficiaries or recipients of God's justice. And we should also cater, we should also bring justice to those who experience gender-based violence. Next slide, please. So what do we do, particularly at Jakarta Theological Seminary, or JTS, or STFT Jakarta? So we do a lot of things to stand in solidarity, to show our solidarity with those who experience gender-based violence. And this is a major event that took place on February 14th. So when people celebrate Valentine's Day, we gathered in solidarity with women, and also not only women, but also men. And regardless your gender identity, you could also experience gender-based violence. So we sat in circle and we pray, and there was also some theatrical taking place over there. And the purpose is to raise awareness, which actually aligns with the purpose of of Thursdays in Black, which is to raise awareness of gender-based violence to the churches, so that the churches that are member of the World Council of Churches, whether it's direct membership or indirect membership through their national councils of churches, could also realize that this is something real and this is something that needs our urgent response. So this is one of our efforts to sensitize our community, to raise awareness, and also to socialize to our students, and also our staffers and also lecturers, who will mostly return to their churches to become ministers, so that they could also transfer this knowledge. They could also socialize this with their church people. Next slide, please. This is also something that we do as our effort to raise awareness. So because it's called Thursdays in Black, we always wear black on Thursday. So this is me and my friends. We all are wearing black in that picture, and it was taken on one fine Thursday, sunny and bright, last year. So this is one of our efforts, one of the ways that we do to, one of the ways that we take to socialize Thursdays in Black within our community. And we do not only socialize this within our community, we also go outside. We also reach a greater audience. And this is one of the activities that we conducted 2 years ago, Choose and Dare to Challenge, Hari Perempuan International. It was held in March, on March 13th, 2021, because we were still in the pandemic period that day. So we conducted this program via Zoom, and we invited Reverend Nicole Ashwood from WCC. She is the program coordinator for Thursdays in Black in the World Council of Churches. So we invited Nikki Ashwood. We also invited somebody from PGI, from the National Communion of Churches of Indonesia, who is also active in participating at Thursdays in Black's campaigns and also events in Geneva and also in Indonesia. So we also did this kind of socialization, and we aimed to reach a greater audience, not only within our seminary, but also outside our seminary. And thank God it was done via Zoom, so it reached a great audience. Next slide, please. Okay, before I say thank you, because I know Pastor Aaron is going to be preaching, this is one of the, you know who that is, right? This is one of our one of our activities also. That is me participating at the WCC, or the World Council of Churches General Assembly, and I also took part in the Thursdays in Black workshop. That's why you could see my background there on top of my head, towards a world without rape and violence. It is the slogan of the Thursdays in Black campaign. So this is also what we do. we also build networks and build connection with our friends, not only in Indonesia, but also abroad, to think and ponder together on how to end gender-based violence. So thank you very much. I hope this presentation could provoke each and every one of us to reflect on the situation of gender-based violence in Indonesia, and we could think of how our church could respond or could reflect on gender-based violence, and also how we theologize about that. So thank you very much. Before I close my presentation, we have brought, I think, 80 copies of this book. This is one of the resources we published 2 years ago. So this is actually a resource on gender justice, how churches could foster gender justice in their own context with respect to their own localities. So you can find this book outside. We have set up a table, and we are distributing these books for free to each and every one of you who comes to church today. So please make your way after church to our table outside. You could grab one of those copies over there, and also we have some pins that I'm wearing. Pastor Oy and Pastor Alan are wearing the pins. And so thank you very much, everyone, for listening to this presentation and also for giving me the time. Thank you.